We have to find out the things Americans get wrong about Europe. So let's go. Let's find that out. Let's go.
Europe.
Come to Birmingham! Come to Birmingham!
Wait, was he yelling at someone to come to bed? Well, then I have to go back.
Come to Birmingham! Come to Birmingham!
No.
Any more bullets? Oh, cholera. Czy to Freddy Fazbear?
Long held as
It's
land of
so
culture,
loud.
etiquette, sophistication, elegance, free healthcare, and pretentious intellectual snobs whose lungs are more full of their own farts than the average 13-year-olds are of questionable fruit-flavored cancer fumes from bright-colored Chinese sticks. For the longest time,
my
Europe has been held by
gosh.
many Americans as this vastly superior promised land and an example to Republicans on how to run social policies. And me,
Oh, come to Berlin. Okay. What? I was like, damn, I need to get this guy and send him to Ketsuya. Come to bed. Come to bed. Can you imagine? My parents like to watch a House Hunter international show, and everyone is shocked at the size of the rooms and that the kitchens don't usually already have appliances. Oh, really? Like the size of the rooms because they're so big? Oh my god, look at his outfit. That's awesome.
as a pretentious, fart-sniffing European myself, I'm here to tell you, my dear American friend, that you are wrong, as Europe is much more different than what many over the seas will lead you to believe. So here's a video.
What the hell was that noise? My ears! EU rooms are way smaller. Really? I didn't know that. Though I have actually heard. I'm partially lying, okay? I'm partially lying because I have heard that homes in like Europe and stuff are actually, it's normal for them to be smaller. So then when I'm like talking about a home here, they'll be like, "What the? It's so big," and I'm like, "No, but it's kind of small. Like, what do you mean? It's small." At least in big cities. Oh, okay, okay. And I know in Japan, I think in particular, they can be like really small. It's yeah. It's weird to think, I guess, how much space we're used to having here. Cause even in the apartment that I have right now, which I guess would be kind of considered, well, basement apartment, which, yeah, I think would be considered kind of big European standard wise. I don't know how many square feet it is. Maybe like 700 square feet. But I'm like, it's small. It's small. I need at least 1,000 square feet. Come on. Come on.
On all the things Americans get wrong about Europe. One of the biggest arguments I hear about Europe being propagated by smug Europeans with an EU flag as their profile picture on Twitter, or American leftists that gag at the mere mentioning of the word America, is that Europe is super walkable and a wonderland that made the car obsolete, and we all live in a car-free utopia and happily ride the super cheap
What?
and affordable and plentiful public transportation.
Does the American children really have to wake up at 6:30 for school in Dayan? Here in Sweden, the children are
What?
11:07 early to the classroom.
And let me tell you something, that is not really.
Wait, they don't wake up at 6:30 in the morning to go to school? Is that what they were making fun of us for? What do you mean? Smug, just friends in my experience. Some yes. What? Man, I was always up bright and freaking early at the crack of dawn or something. Oh man, I remember I hated it. I hated it so much.
The case. To be fair, Europe certainly is more walkable and less car friendly than America. And Europeans absolutely have more public transportation options
Yes.
and utilize public transport more than Americans. There's no arguing with that. However, many European states, Western and Eastern alike, still rely on using cars quite frequently. Many European cities are quite large and densely populated. As a result, using public transportation becomes quite uncomfortable as there are so many people packed together. Thus, many opt out to purchase a car and use it to get around the city. So, many renowned European cities such as London, Paris, Rome, Athens, and Istanbul, and anywhere else you can think of that has a population of over 1 million, hell, even 500,000, are renowned for having...
Oh my god, I don't know if I would bother driving if that was what it was like. Holy shit. I would be way too scared. Way too scared. That's like, where are the rules? Nobody's freaking... What the hell? That's just absolute chaos. Depends if you go to high school in another city or not. I think that's bad. You should see some Japanese trains. Oh man, yeah, I've seen some of those. They're really, it's like a friggin' can of sardines. That's terrible. But you get friggin' squished. I'm pretty sure there have been stories of people getting squished on the trains. It's terrible.
Horrendous and congested traffic. Another issue is that if you happen to live in a smaller town or even in a more rural settlement and need to go between cities, your options for public transport get quite limited. As a result, many Europeans still rely on a car as their main mode of transport. This is more of a case in Eastern and Central Europe, but still very much alive in the West as well. And just because there is public transportation doesn't necessarily mean it's cheap. Using public transportation within cities in Germany and Finland can cost up to €3 for a ticket, and if you don't book your ticket for the train in Spain or Italy in time, the cost can add up. And taking a train cross country almost anywhere can easily be over €50 and above. It's certainly better than in America, but it certainly is no transportation utopia.
Our friggin' public transportation here is absolutely a joke. It is the biggest joke ever. That's why I hate bigger cities. Like, you cannot actually get to most of our city and stuff by public transport, so. I mean, by bus, maybe, but definitely not by subway train. Nope.
Jestem chirurgiem. Jestem chirurgiem.
One of the more annoying aspects of American politics is this insistence on the American far left that America should be like Europe and utilize free healthcare. First of all, our healthcare isn't free. Europeans, no matter the country we live in, have substantially larger taxes than those in America. A lot of this taxation goes into funding our healthcare. Unlike in America, more often than not, you pay the same tax percentage no matter your income. Thus, in many ways, European taxes are regressive compared to the American tax system. To be fair, you certainly do pay less than in America regarding your healthcare. However, a lot of times, our systems are quite inefficient. A lot of times, to get any serious surgery or procedure done, you will have to wait a decent amount of time on the waiting list to get it done. The UK's NHS is one of the most nefarious examples of this inefficiency, and throughout Eastern and Central Europe, the situation isn't that far off. The only time that you'll get priority is if you have been...
Yeah, I learned through, Ketsuya, actually. Pay an atrocious amount of freaking taxes. Like, a lot. But, but he also said, like, they pay a lot less for some stuff and whatever. And, like, education and all that stuff compared to us.
already diagnosed and are in a serious trouble. However, to get the diagnosis in the first place can take some time to see a specialist because there's a huge waiting queue. As a result, many opt to use private healthcare and private insurance because of this. Although the additional safety net is appreciated here, it often becomes quite a burden because of its inefficiency and hit on your wallet due to the high tax rates. And unlike in America, you can opt out of paying government healthcare. Whether you use it or not, you're stuck paying these ridiculously high tax rates even if you switch to private healthcare. Another thing that
Healthy
Europeans love to gloat
lifestyle.
about is how they are healthier than those fat American slobs that ride mobility scooters through Walmart to get their government unregulated GMO enhanced cheese from a can. And to be fair, there is some truth to this. Maybe
I mean, like, they have to be a little bit healthier. Even in terms of like fast food portion sizes and stuff like that. The thing Europeans do that the US needs to do is stores factoring sales tax into the price tag. Yeah, I don't understand why they don't just do that, honestly. Apparently, if Trump's ideas were actually executed, where income taxes got replaced by external revenue, the consumers would be paying more in the end, which is kind of like a regressive tax. Unless they are going to have localized price tags even in chain stores, that's not going to happen, as sales tax totals, where applicable, are different depending on the state, city, town, and county. Oh, yeah, that's true for that's true for the US. I think in Canada that would probably be a little bit more possible to do. Because I think we have tax by province. But like for the whole province it's the same. I don't know, they could still do it. They could still do it. It would just take slightly more work. Is this freaking Nikocado avocado? What the heck?
not even some, but a lot. Europe
my
has certainly
gosh.
better food regulation, they have more walkable cities, and the government
Excuse me, did you see the size of those peppers? What in the heck? They're freaking massive! Holy shit! This cannot be real. Guess they haven't tried it most of the time, as Americans likely would take time to get used to it. True. I don't see this as a problem. Each store sets its own prices depending on the taxes. Yeah, I think it would just take them a bit extra work, and they don't want to. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. Why would they want to work a little bit more?
they have more walkable cities, and the governments encourage more healthy activities in the youth. However, on average, 53% of EU citizens are overweight, as their BMI is over 25. In particular, 54% of Germany's population is overweight, 60% of Hungary's, 60% of Czechia's, 65% of Croatia's, 56% of Portugal's, and 58% of Greece's. Again, not as bad
Wow.
as the US, but certainly not the flex many think it is. Although on average Europeans still have a smaller obesity rate than Americans, Europeans smoke and consume way more alcohol and caffeine than the average American. It is not uncommon for teenagers to start smoking young, not just in Eastern Europe but Western as well, and for them to also start drinking early and go bar
Oh my
hopping.
god, the
So
freaking
yeah,
straw again! What is this straw? The water straw again. Oh my gosh, freaking seeing this thing everywhere. Everyone's just drinking out of ponds.
go bar hopping. So yes, Europeans are technically more healthy than Americans, but you give some, you take some. So this one's a bit more niche, as it's not propagated by that many Americans, but still is here and there by the less educated ones. And that is that Europe is one singular cohesive entity with singular policies, goals, and interests, which simply isn't true. Although the EU has unified us in many ways, Europe is still a continent and not a single country with a central federal government. A lot of countries until quite recently were historical enemies with each other. Today, although that is no longer the case, many still do what's best for their own nation and interests and act independently of the others. What's the
I mean, fair, right? You gotta look out for your own country, first and foremost. If companies included possible taxes, they'd just take the opportunity to profit more and worry about the taxes they actually owe later. I believe that. I have experience spawning this complaint. I spent most of my childhood, teenage years in the EU, and my first time going to a store in US to buy some drinks, I was like 25 cents and I have 4 of them and just $1. Perfect. And then reality slapped me in the face. Oh no, Julius. Whoa. What do you mean it's not just $1? That's all I have. Womp womp. But the taxes in the sales tax in the States, I think, is less than what it is here. For Ontario, it's 13% tax. They already have the price with added tax in their system. What's the problem to give this price on the shelf next to the product? Because then it appears to be cheaper, right? So then you're gonna buy it. I give Europe 20 years before it falls apart because of all the stupid regulations they are starting to impose on all member of states. Oh no. 7%, 7% in the state of Georgia? Wow. That's not bad. That's not too bad. Not bad at all. 7% compared to 13.
In one country won't necessarily be true in the other. Even in politics, countries must form coalitions and persuade others to push EU laws, and the process is quite slow and bureaucratic. Although we are much more unified than before, we're definitely not unified as much as America. Finally, we have to talk about America's leftists' favorite talking point, and that is that Europe is a far-left progressive paradise. And again, to be fair, European states are more akin to the classic welfare state model. However, they are not socialist or super left, the way American politicians such as Bernie Sanders claim. Many European states have extremely business-friendly laws, despite their high taxes.
Oh, what
Sanders, when he praised the socialist system of the Scandinavian countries, actually
That was a pretty cool car thingy there. Whatever that guy was on.
warranted a response from the Danish government, which proclaimed that they are a free market economy and not a socialist one, like he claimed. Private enterprise is encouraged, and many hate to be referred to as socialists, especially in Eastern Europe. Although many nations are LGBT friendly, the average European is arguably more socially conservative than your average American, especially concerning trans rights. For example, Ireland technically only legalized divorce in 1996, and Switzerland fully ratified women's suffrage in 1990. Of course, the big cities are extremely progressive, just like any city on the American coast, yet Europeans in general are still more suspicious of immigrants and foreigners than Americans. It is also quite difficult for immigrants to be accepted by the population. Assimilation culture in Europe is more lacking than America, and many immigrants whose families have been here for generations are still regarded as outsiders, be it for the factors of their own making or the factors outside of their control. I mean, just ask the average European what he thinks about the gypsies and you'll know what I'm talking about.
Oh my god.
In conclusion, I love the shit out of Europe, and there is a reason I've chosen to make it my home instead of America. But misrepresentation helps no one, and honesty is the best policy. Let me know what you think. What misconceptions about your country/continent bother you? Let me know in the comment section down below. And also, let me know if you'd like me to make a video about misconceptions about America by Europeans. As always, thank you to the members who help and fund and support my work. If you wish to become a patron and support my further videos, become a member of the channel, or go and buy yourself a shirt or my board game off the ironicshop.com. My name is Janos, and you've watched Living Ironically in Europe.
Bum, 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 bum. I want to move to Europe. I want to move there. If I ever by some miracle get the chance, Jello and I are gonna move to Europe, I swear.